Welcome to Downtown Music. Pablo Mayor and Anna Povich de Mayor have brought us a wonderfully interesting program. It's a portion of their latest creation, Unspoken Tales. This is true storytelling through music, a series of vignettes based on real-life tales of immigrants from around the globe. For some time now, Pablo and Anna have been gathering with and learning from people who call the Hudson Valley home. What you're about to see is a multidisciplinary musical theater work in progress. In its final form, it will feature the full folklore urbano orchestra, as well as dancers and other artists bringing the work to life. It's a pleasure to share this preview with you today. The full work is scheduled to premiere next year. And now, Unspoken Tales.
What you are about to hear are unspoken tales, real stories of our own neighbors who have made the often difficult decision to leave their homeland, to leave behind the beauty of their land, their families, loved ones, in search of a better life. In hearing their stories, we grasp the complexity of a person, of a culture. We learn of their struggles, their hardships, and their joys along this journey. This is how we glean understanding and respect. This helps us not to judge and to find the ability to show sympathy, to show respect for those around us who might not speak our language, who might eat different foods, listen to different music. We invite you to listen to these unspoken tales with an open mind and an open heart. the land of port wine, I was born. And since I was young, I wanted to see the world. I was told if I care, I will find the flowers. If I care, I will find good. From Portugal to Brazil, 1954. Selling my bread and finding my beloved. I grew up on a farm in the northern end of Portugal, about 20 minutes from the coast. I was the youngest of 5 brothers and sisters. My father was a farmer, my family had animals, grew rice, vegetables, among other things, and from the age of 7, I had the job of feeding the cows. Despite life in the countryside, I was always fascinated with American films and everything about the American culture. I went to school from the age of 7 until I was 11 years old. My future was carved out for me to continue work on my father's farm, but at the age of 12, I had my mind set on something more. I left the farm to go work for my uncle, who I remember once scolding me, telling me that I had everything: work, my family's farm. Why would I possibly want to leave? But my heart was not there. At the age of 15, I emigrated to Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, with an uncle, where my older sister and brother were already living and working. The trip was 10 days on a ship. It was 1954, and I left behind my mother and father, who I would only communicate with by letter for the next 7 years. Upon arrival, I was immediately given work in the family bread-making business. I was given a route, a bike with a basket, and was to deliver bread along that route. I worked hard, and eventually I had my own grocery store and a butcher shop and was able to buy my first house within the 7 years I lived in Brazil. I met my wife during this time, a blonde-haired, green-eyed woman who biked by one day and stuck out her tongue at me, and I the same back at her. We had a very formal courtship. At this time, romance was very formal. I had to ask her permission from her parents to marry her and visited her at their house. We wanted to marry, but I didn't have the money and told her she had to wait 5 years. We finally decided to marry in March of 1963. We traveled by boat to Portugal for our honeymoon. I remember the storms on the ships and how it was a frightening journey in those days. It was the first time I had been to Portugal in 7 years, and we spent 7 months traveling around the country. Upon returning to Brazil, Rio was in the midst of political upheaval. The military took control of the government, and I remember seeing dead bodies alongside the road. Portugal was in a similar predicament, with Salazar running the country and Mussolini and Franco looming elsewhere in Europe. It was a terrible time, and I knew I had to leave the country and knew I needed to go to the United States. I had a Portuguese friend from my hometown who sponsored us, living in Sleepy Hollow. In December, 9 months after returning from our honeymoon, our first child was born in Rio. And shortly after, we journeyed to America with our new baby by ship. Upon arriving in Sleepy Hollow, I started landscaping. My second daughter was born after moving to Sleepy Hollow. I learned all different jobs, took a course on landscaping at night. I had already known so much about pruning from my father growing up on the farm in Portugal, so it was easy for me to get more involved in this business. I was such a good worker and honest, and through word of mouth, I started getting calls to do landscaping, and eventually, I was doing not one house, but every house on the block. I built my own business little by little, bought machines, and eventually pursued bigger contracts, seeding and planting trees for parkways from Westchester to Albany, city and state projects for the Department of Transportation, including New York City parks. I secured contracts to plant 1,500 to 2,000 trees a year, a business which I held for 48 years. At this part of my life, I see the trees I planted in front of that same beckoning Statue of Liberty that greeted me in 1963. My wife was always at my side, traveled everywhere with me. I still have the electric chair in the entrance to my house, which carried her up the stairs in the final moments of her life when she couldn't walk up the stairs anymore. She died in 2013, and I still miss her. I adored my wife, but I continue to live with a positive attitude that has brought about happiness and success in my life. Being positive and having faith has been everything for me. You can't think that things won't happen or will go wrong. Every day you have to wake up and be positive about things in your life. I thank God each day for everything He has given me. You have to be thankful. I came to Sleepy Hollow for love, from Cuenca, a woman of Ecuador. Heading north to send my wages south, to my home, to Ecuador, to parents without hope, 7 siblings without dreams and a future. My only hope to help was heading north. Coyote money wrapped in pantyhose, heading north to beautiful Sleepy Hollow. No matter the steaming jail, the overloaded raft, the suffocating luggage compartment of a bus, 4 failed attempts. Trekking through jungle, wading through water, walking on sand. By plane, by ship, by raft, hidden in a bus. Sleeping in cemeteries, strange houses, on stone and grass. By air, by sea, by land, with faith, hope, and trust. Trekking through jungle, wading through water, walking on sand. By plane, by ship, by raft, hidden in a bus. Sleeping in cemeteries, strange houses, on stone and grass. By air, by sea, by land, with faith, hope, and trust. Finally, wading in the pitch-black darkness across the Rio Grande, 3 days walking across a desert to Houston, people dying along this journey. Heading north to reunite with my love, even if it meant to send my $4.15 per hour wages south to pay my debt, my $10,000 debt, to loving parents, 7 siblings, Ecuador. I grew up in the countryside, in a city called Moca in the Dominican Republic, in an area known as Juan Lopez, an agricultural area of coffee, avocado, plantain, yuca. My grandmother on my father's side had left for Sleepy Hollow years before and eventually petitioned for my father to come to Tarrytown. My father took my 2 older brothers and eventually returned to the Dominican Republic. My brother stayed behind to work, and next came me. My mother and father wanted me to leave. They wanted me to go to school, to get an education. I did not really want to leave my country, but I knew it was necessary for my future. I was 15 when I had to say goodbye to my mother, my father, my homeland. For me, it was not easy. The sadness I felt as I boarded the plane to this foreign land was overwhelming. Coming here, I left behind the land of plantain and yuca of warm nights and warm family. Getting here, I worked like an animal. I missed my mama. Why did I leave? The cold of winter cracked my skin. Staying here for my wife and daughter, I just kept working. I just kept working hard. Good things happened. Never easy. No regrets. But still, I dream of plantain and yuca, of warm nights with my family.
Thanks for joining us. Pablo and Anna will be back with us to share further installments of Unspoken Tales later in the season. Until then, stay up to date with our programs by visiting our website, dtmusic.org. While there, you're also welcome to click on the donate button and make a real difference to downtown music, now in its 33rd year. Together, we will make this go. Thank you.